Dun 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 dun. Welcome. I am Emir, and let's travel back through time. Ninth, you don't give George any character motivation whatsoever. Dare I say it, he's only a plot driver. Okay, this bit requires a long explanation. Strap on, dear viewers. We're in for a bumpy ride. Marty meets his dad George as a teenager. He sees his old man being bullied by Biff, his future supervisor. He doesn't resist and fight for himself because he's not very good at confrontations. Marty stalks his dad. One, why didn't Marty just, look for Doc 1955 Doc to help him get home? Isn't that why he went to Lou's Cafe in the first place? Focus, dude. No wonder you're so triggered by being called a chicken. Again, don't give Marty common sense. But anyway, I'm nitpicking now. Back to George. 2. Stalking is creepy, but George isn't too far off. He's a peeping Tom. Great! Like father, like son. George falls off a tree just as a car is headed towards him. Marty pushes his dad to safety, not knowing the effect this would have on his existence. His parents don't fall in love at first sight. No love, no Marty. Plain and simple. But wait a minute. If Marty was never born, then he never travels back in time. If he never travels back in time, he never interferes with the accident. If he never interferes with the accident, then his parents fall in love. If his parents fall in love, then Marty is born. So, will Marty always exist, even if he vanishes into thin air? Oh no, I've gone cross-eyed. Because Marty interferes with the accident, his parents never meet and therefore never fall in love. So, he never exists. And so do his siblings. They start disappearing. And if he doesn't do anything, he'll vanish too. So he has to make his parents fall in love. 2 problems. 1. His mom falls in love with him. I no longer find this point cringy, unlike what I said in my introductory video. Anyway, his mom falls in love with him, and 2, George is an alien, out of this world, who'll only talk to beings not of this earth. Good thing Marty has a radiation suit, a tape player, and Van Halen. I cannot relate to George. Never did then, and certainly not now. Why? He's like in his own little world. He doesn't care about anyone. He doesn't even care about himself. He'll gladly be a pushover. He won't mind Biff bullying him for the rest of his life. Granted, he'll change. He'll grow up thanks to Marty's positive influence. But I'm bothered George never changes his mind by himself. We don't even see him sad and disappointed with his pathetic existence. His motivation for being a better person is not because he's fed up with his life. It's not even because he wants Lorraine to fall in love with him. George doesn't want that. He's just told to want that by Darth Vader from the planet Vulcan. He never internalizes anything. He just goes with the flow. In comparison, this is why I love Back to the 2015 Future so much. It's a short that came out on Back to the Future Day, October 21, 2015. This is the father-son connection done right. Spoilers! In this short, Marty asks for help from his future son, who is not called Marty Jr., to fix the DeLorean. His son, not realizing that he's talking to a younger version of his father, rants about how his dad is not exactly a good dad. Marty realizes, through this conversation, that he must be a better father. He is not told to change. Instead, he comes to that realization on his own. Even in parts 2 and 3, Marty learns his lesson not because he's told he's wrong. Doc tries to tell him, yes, but Marty only appreciates why he's wrong when he sees the consequences. Meanwhile, George is just told by another person what he should want. He never thinks about it, he's never frustrated about it, he never rants to Marty, saying that he wants to change his life. But you know what? It doesn't matter. Everyone still roots for George to be a better person, to be a fighter, to get the girl. Even if we're not sure if he really wants these. And 10th? Oh God, this will be more painful than the last. You don't change Marty's brilliant plan for George, even if it's an awful and terrible plan. Let me explain. Marty may have, quote-unquote, convinced George that it is his his destiny, to ask Lorraine out to the Enchantment Under the Sea dance. But Lorraine is just not into George. She's too madly, deeply, and crazily in love with her son. She asks Marty to ask her to go with her to the dance. And still Marty tells George that Lorraine wants to go out with him, George. I still don't understand. How am I supposed to go to the dance with her if she's already going to the dance with you? 'Cause George, she wants to go to the dance with you. She just doesn't know it yet. Oh no. Here we go. Okay, let's go over the plan again. 8:55. Where are you gonna be? I'm gonna be at the dance. Right. And where am I gonna be? You're gonna be in the car with her. Right. Okay. So right around 9 o'clock, she's gonna get very angry with me. Why is she gonna get angry with you? Well, because George, nice girls get angry when guys take advantage of them. Oh, you mean you're gonna touch her on her? No. George, look. It's just an act, right? Did Marty just suggest what I think he did? Well, because George, nice girls get angry when guys take advantage of them. Oh, you mean you're gonna touch her on her? That's rape. Or acts of lasciviousness at the very least. The fact that this is just pretend is no excuse. Dude, don't. Don't rape, don't pretend to rape. Just because Lorraine likes Marty doesn't mean he can take advantage of her, whether that is his real intention or not. No means no. Remember, at this point of the movie, Marty doesn't even know that Lorraine wants that. Also, isn't Lorraine supposed to be 17 years old? The fact that Marty is also 17 is no excuse. Err on the side of caution, of decency, of humanity, of morality. The fact that the movie shows Biff doing the exact same thing that Marty suggested, and George coming to the rescue, the movie sends the wrong signal that it's okay if Marty does it, but not if it's Biff. But maybe you say, pretending to rape someone. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Rape. Pretending to rape someone as a ruse to build your friend's self-esteem is a perfectly acceptable suggestion in 1985 when Marty came from. You may say, it's a generational thing. To that I answer, have you seen the trilogy? There is no place for rape in any timeline. Not in 1885, nor in 1955. George, teenage George, 1955 George, calls him out. Oh, you mean you're gonna touch her on her? No. George, look. It's just an act, right? Marty, come here. Come on, come here. You're an asshole! Couldn't the Bobs, I mean Marty, have thought of another way to make George look cool and brave? To build up his self-esteem? Maybe a Rocky-like training montage? Maybe have George confront his bullies, one at a time? There's not just one, you know. The movie shows other bullies besides Biff. He isn't the only one breathing down his neck. And then news spreads around the school that George is now a tough guy. And then Marty, as wingman, tries to convince Lorraine to check out the new George. That George is now a changed person. Is that practical? Can that be done all in 1 week? Maybe. Is it original? No, it's not. But it's certainly better than pretending to rape someone. Is this really the best thing Marty can come up in this scenario? There's no excuse for this. Even if your very life is on the line, that's not a reason to be a I wish I could see the earlier Back to the Future draft screenplays, just to see if Marty's brilliant plan was there to begin with. But the fourth draft from October 12, 1984 has it. But you know what? In spite of all of that, this movie gets a free pass. Back to the Future Part 1 was a critical and commercial success. It gets a lot of love even today, even if it upfront suggested rape. So yes, any remake, keep that in. Have Marty be a terrible person and have George be a horrible human being for agreeing with the plan. Any remake with this plot point will surely do well. So let's go over my 10 points again. How not to remake Back to the Future Part 1. First, you don't show why Marty and Doc are friends. Second, you don't give Marty's dream a logical conclusion. Third, you don't tie the power of love into the story. Fourth, you don't give Marty common sense. Fifth, you don't replace the DeLorean. Sixth, you don't take Einstein, the dog, out of the DeLorean. Seventh, you don't call gigawatts gigawatts. Eighth, you don't hide the identities or nationalities of the terrorists who Doc ripped off. Ninth, you don't give George any character motivation whatsoever. And last, and definitely not the least, you don't change Marty's brilliant plan for George to win Lorraine's heart. Marty still suggests rape, and George still goes along with it. Damn it, I can't talk about this movie anymore. Let me just summarize my thoughts on the entire trilogy and get this video over with. What did I think of the Back to the Future movies as a whole? Let me summarize it this way. I love Part 3, I like Part 2, but I hate Part 1. I hate hate, 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 hate Part 1. The sequels, I'll watch over and over again. But Part 1? How can anyone call this great entertainment? I refuse to believe that any decent person living in 1985 would condone this behavior. I'll pretend Part 1 never existed. And I don't think I'll miss it, since Part 3's story is just Part 1's. Think about it. In both movies, Doc and Marty are both in danger. In Part 1, Doc gets shot and Marty almost vanishes. In Part 3, either of them ends up on that tombstone. Both Parts 1 and 3 are also love stories. I'm telling you, Part 3 is just Part 1, except that Part 3 is a good movie. A film which shows consent, that shows how lovers meet halfway. Come on, I love that part of Part 3. I spent much of my review talking about that. You're telling me that the same writers came up with this? Well, because, George, nice girls get angry when guys take advantage of them. Ah! People give Part 2 too much toot because it doesn't have the heart of Part 1. To that I say, what would you rather have? A lesson against selfishness and greed? Something that we always have to keep in mind? Or this? Well, because, George, nice girls get angry when guys take advantage of them. I'm not going to pretend that Part 1 has no good stuff. I like the lesson that it gives. If you put your mind to it, you can accomplish anything. But even that becomes part of Marty's unforgivable grand scheme. George, there's nothing to be scared of. All it takes is a little self-confidence. You know, if you put your mind to it, you can accomplish anything. Marty, just shut up. In the event Back to the Future is remade, or continued, maybe a fourth movie, maybe a new Part 1, I hope that it does not suggest rape. Please don't have these beloved characters be assholes. This has been very frustrating. What do you think of Back to the Future Part 1? What do you think of the entire trilogy as a whole? What do you think of my review? Of all my reviews on Back to the Future? Am I wrong? Please comment below. And then the other usual stuff. Please just check out the sidebar. Now please excuse me. I have to rest. See you again. Hopefully in a much better time. Excuse me.